No, I'm not ready.
Two, one. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Delusions of Grandeur, where we are uh, uh, about to do an episode of What's in My Room. It has been a while, folks. Um, I've just been so busy lately, and man, do I have a lot to show you. And I decided to invite my good friend Kroll on. Hello, Kroll.
Hello, David.
I have a lot to cover and a lot of ground to show you. A lot of these I've shown on my good friend Mo's channel, Retro Cult Media, on a couple of his streaming of his video pickups. But I have not gone on and talked about uh, a lot of these on my own channel. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll start with my newest pickups. I have a stack here. And uh, this one's sort of new. Stuck it in this stack just because it was out in the living room. But I ended up picking up from Half Price Books a copy of the Mork and Mindy complete series.
I love Mork Mindy.
Tammy and I have been going through and watching it season by season, and we're on like the last disc of the show. So it has been a blast. I mean,
Uh,
I don't understand why they canceled it. It was so fucking great.
we were just talking about it yesterday about shows that I feel is better than the show that it's spun off from. I mean, Happy is great, but I really love Mork Mindy.
And
Right.
unfortunately,
Me,
for Happy Days, they've only stuck like the first 6 seasons to disc, and that's it.
how many are there? I don't even know.
Oh God! When I looked, I swear there were like 16 or
Uh,
something like
def-
that.
Definitely not that many.
Let's see if I can look it up really quick. I'll just put in Happy Days.
Oh, that's
And then let's see. There we go. According to 11 seasons
Mork and Mindy.
of Happy Days. There
Oh,
were only 4 seasons of Mork and Mindy.
oh yeah, I knew there was more.
Yeah,
Uh,
and you could
yeah.
definitely
Well,
tell.
Happy
You
Days when they jumped the shark.
and
That's the ones that the expression came from, jumping the shark. It's literally Fonda jumped the shark.
Mork and Mindy was a late 1960s or early 70s comedy show starring Robin Williams and Pam Dower. Robin Williams played an alien called Mork from Ork. Nanu,
Up
Nanu.
past sun, mirth for mirth.
I get a kick out of Mork. He's just a
Mork was
blast.
great. Mork was great. I loved it. Pam Dauber. Um, that's why when Rob Williams passed away, I was like, man, I felt like I lost a friend. I mean, I didn't know him, but I grew up with him. I mean, I grew up with him on Happy Days, and then Mork and Mindy, and then all the movies. It's like
Yeah,
he's got that personality that it's like he's your friend, even though you don't really know him. And from what I've read about people that actually have met him, he's so nice and everything. And it's such a shame that the problems he had that no one really knew. And I guess it happens to a lot of comedians have this that they have a problem with you know emotional problems and stuff, and they just don't ever seek help with it.
I know. And he had that personality that you could just instantly like if you met him, you know that he would be like anybody's friend. You
Yeah.
know.
So I said when he passed, it was like, man, it felt like I lost a friend. It really did. It really felt like a loss of
I,
friend.
I definitely felt an impact on his passing myself.
Totally. I'm bigger than the Queen over in England. There. I mean, I'm sorry she passed, but
What are
yeah.
you talking about? There's still a queen.
Uh, I've seen her, here and there on TV, but waving and stuff seemed like a nice lady, but I don't really know anything much about her except was, monarchy for 50 years or
Yeah,
70 years.
70.
And yeah, um, so she must have been loved. I mean, I guess because nobody overthrew her or anything. So yeah.
Well, you know that one's going to be like talked about for like the next couple of months, anyways. So
Princess Diana, I didn't really know her either. It was sad though how she died and stuff, but
yeah,
or but more, more. But Robin Williams was just like it was huge. That was a big celebrity death. Like I said, it felt like a loss of friend. I mean, so it was really tough when Kenny Baker and Peter Mayhew and of course Carrie Fisher all died too. Um, for those who don't realize it, always Carrie Fisher, Princess Leia, everyone knows that. But Kenny Baker is R2, which and Peter Mayhew was Chewie. Um, they all passed close to each other. Of course, Carrie Fisher was the after, and then her mother passed.
yeah, it
Close,
was sad.
very. Um, yeah.
But let's continue on. We have a lot to cover.
Sorry.
So the next film I ended up picking up in the Asian action section, martial arts section at Mega Media, which is a store that has like I think it has like 3 locations still. It used to have like 4. Um, and before that, it was Take
Sure.
Two, and before that, I think it was something else as well. I think it might have actually been CD Warehouse, but I ended up getting out of work early and decided to raid their Western section for the most part. But this one comes from Welgo, USA, and it's called The Emperor's Sword. And its directors are Yingyu Zhang and Hadnan Shen. I guess it had 2 directors. And I ended up watching it last night. It is subtitled, and oftentimes Welgo USA uh, films are very bare bones. They don't have any extras, which is sad for those who care. But I do not. I think if you want to learn anything about filmmaking, you should be able to see it while you're watching it. So, but have you ever heard of this movie?
No.
Well, it wasn't bad. I mean, the action was more.
Last movies I usually watch are either dubbed or in English. So I haven't really watched many martial arts lately. They kind of not the genre anymore. No, nobody really does them anymore. Don't have anybody doing martial arts. Need some more Jackie Chan movies.
Which we'll get to in a moment
Crazy
because
trying to be
I have a couple of Jackie Chan ones to share that I've never seen nor heard of until I picked them up.
really.
So
I know I haven't seen all of them. I think I've heard of most of them, not all of them.
but the action here kind of reminded me similarly to like 300 or something on that level. If you've ever seen
Good
that
movie. Last movie though.
The thing is when they show action like that in like slow motion and junk like that's a way to show you like how like the action is done. But I swear to God, they do it like so fucking much in this movie. It's like, do you think we're fucking stupid? You know, you don't need to show everything. You know.
Yeah, some people over Matrix it.
sometimes
I think
less.
one of the first that did that. I mean, I could be wrong. Could have been old, but that was one of the first that made it big for films to do that. The slow motion gig.
I mean, it was a decent story line, and
It's funny, slow motion to show how fast people are going.
right.
But nothing they can do because people don't actually go that fast. So
next is a double feature. That was also in the section. I think this was $6. That one was $11.99. But I guess this is a double feature called The Bodyguard and The Bodyguard 2. It says it features Ong Bak's Tony Jaa, and it's from Magnet Releasing.
I'm guessing this is not The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston.
No, it is definitely not The Bodyguard with Whitney Houston. I can probably tell you that they are probably subtitled. So, yeah.
Watching and less forced.
Looking forward to checking this out eventually. It looks like it might be a little bit action packed. So we'll see. We'll see whether I enjoy it or not.
A little bit better because at least if you miss a little bit of the words, most the action kind of tell you the story. So there shouldn't be too many words to worry about. Not that I can read really fast. Just I don't like to read my so.
And here we're getting into some of Kroll's favorite genre. McQueen plays, I guess, Tom Horn, and I guess this is based on a true story.
Was that Steve McQueen?
Yeah, it says McQueen up top. Just his last name, like we should know who he is.
Well, I did say Steve McQueen, so I guess I did know who he was.
And it's directed by William Wyatt.
A lot of other people wouldn't know that. He's an older actor, so.
Tagline is they paid him to tame the West, but they couldn't tame him. The day they came to get Tom Horn, they couldn't bring enough men.
Nice.
One thing that happens on westerns is sometimes they have some pretty good taglines. That's for sure. But this one's a newer one. I haven't seen it yet, but it's called The West and the Ruthless. I think I've seen Tom Horn at least once.
I know I haven't seen it, but the name sounds familiar from something.
Yeah, and this, I think this is an indie western. It's directed by Nick and Lexi Trevanza. And I guess it's produced in association with the studio where 310 to Yuma, Tombstone, and The Magnificent Seven were filmed.
I love Tombstone.
So I guess that's kind of a cool aspect to it. But it was a cheap film to pick up. I think it was $2.99. So
get what you pay for.
But I guess it stars Danny Brown, Dan Fowlks, Rebecca Gomberg, Paul Hapnemi, Alexander Harris, Benedict Mazurik, Will Roberts, Zoe Sloan, and Matt Boone, Caitlin Clark, among others. So
that's weird that you say Alexander Harris. I'm looking over at my Buffy comic, and Xander's on the cover, and his name was Xander Harris, and Xander was short for Alexander, so he's Alexander Harris. Different because this is a character, but just thought that was funny. I didn't know the name.
A little bit funny.
Yeah.
Next is a film that stars Gregory Peck and Eva Marie Saint in a film called The Stalking Moon. And this film I guess it's based on a novel called The Stalking Moon, which was written by Theodore V. Olson. And this was directed by Robert Milligan or Mulligan. And I guess one of the producers behind To Kill a Mockingbird was one of the people who backed Robert Mulligan in this movie. So that I guess that's kind of cool. But yeah, I like Gregory Peck. Like him in Moby Dick and To Kill a Mockingbird.
Hey, he's all right.
Should be interesting to check out eventually. At least his role in there. Next, I believe 20th Century Fox put this out. The neat thing about these, and I know these are DVDs, but I don't care. DVDs used to be cool. They still are to me. 20th Century Fox would like put out their DVDs with these like nice slip cover things.
Yeah, I'm not big on the Blu-ray. I mean, if I get something Blu-ray, it's usually because I can't find it DVD or something. Because DVD is cheap. Why not? I mean, it's this is good. You know, it's slightly better with Blu-ray, but for the price, I'm not gonna quibble over a little bit difference in how it looks.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
most of the stuff that I get came out in the time of a DVD or before. So I mean, like a lot of stuff you're showing, hell, they were out before there was VHS. So you don't need to see stuff like that in Blu-ray. They ain't have no such thing in technology. Like Mo, he tends to watch stuff, old stuff on like a black and white TV or whatever. Sometimes. So, to get the feel of the original, how you originally watched it.
Oh, I can definitely see that. I would love to just get like a small like portable like black and white TV.
Yeah, that's what he has. I
Yep.
think a small color one, but more to like back when the colors just came out, or like when I was a kid and had a color TV.
Yeah.
My first TV was black and white. They still had black and white TVs even in the early it was early 80s when I got a TV. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. I remember it was a 12-inch TV, and I played a Nintendo and on it on TV.
Anyways, this movie has Henry Fonda in it. It's called The Return of Frank James with Gene Tierney, Jackie Cooper, and Henry Hull.
I like Jackie Cooper.
Still, it looks like it might be cool.
Cast. I mean, definitely not my cup of tea normally, but good cast, so it could be okay.
Next, I've got Tom Selleck in one of his more classic roles, Quigley Down Under.
Yeah, that's a great movie. That is a great movie.
Oh, but it's a Western.
You didn't get any. You didn't get any other Quigleys.
This is the only Quigley that there is.
No, there's others.
This is the only one that I found in the Westerns section.
Yeah, there's definitely other Quigley movies. Maybe they're not related. I don't know. I think they are though.
Directed by Simon Winger.
There's a few westerns I like. That one, it's a western, but I don't know. It just doesn't.
Oh God, Alan
Rickman. Doesn't quite have the same feel as other westerns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like it. Anyways, so.
Alan Rickman was in this movie.
Really?
Yeah. So.
That's the snake.
He definitely cut a good jibe in as Professor Snape.
He was a great actor. It was such a shame he passed early.
Oh yeah, he also played in
Galaxy
Quest.
In Die Hard.
That too.
He was the bad guy in first Die Hard. It was great. Hans, what was the last name? Can't remember.
Next, I have an older Western.
I can't. But yeah. Alan Rickman. He also played Sheriff of Rottingham in
in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Yeah.
So this is an older Western starring Audie Murphy, Joan Evans, and Charles Drake in No Name for a Bullet. Figured I'd check it out.
I've heard that. I've probably seen it. I've seen a lot of Westerns. I just don't remember them because I didn't like them. But yeah, my grandparents. So.
Oh yeah. I guess this was directed by Jack Arnold. Ooh, Jack Arnold. I know that director. He directed the original Tarantula, if I remember correctly. He did a lot of 1950s sci-fi features too. So should be good. I'll definitely check that out on a rainy day. So here's another Tom Selleck movie that I remember well. Monty Wells.
What is it?
It's called Monty Wells. It's also directed by Simon Winger.
Never heard of that one.
Yeah, this one was pretty good.
I liked Tom Selleck and Magnum PI.
That is our next series that we're gonna be like, because she has a copy of the entire series. We're gonna be watching the entire thing of that.
Have you seen the new one?
Yes, I've been watching every episode.
I'm behind, but I like it.
I like it too. It's different. It's not as talky, and what's her name in there is playing the sidekick. Yeah. She's pretty hot. Yeah, Monty Wells was another Western that I remember Tom Selleck in that was pretty darn good. Rewatch that eventually. Next, I have Robert Taylor and Eleanor Parker in Many Rivers to Cross. This one looked cool because it's got a female in a coonskin cap on the back. And I thought that kind of looked sexy.
You would.
What? Next, I have a triple feature based on Louis L'Amour novels. And one of them has Tom Selleck in it called The Sackets. Another one has Sam Elliott in it called Coniger.
Oh, there we have.
And also
Catlow. Trilogy, huh?
Huh?
The Mustache Trilogy.
Sort of, I guess. Although the last one with Baldy Yul Brenner in it.
Oh, okay.
With no mustache.
He doesn't have a mustache. He doesn't even have hair.
No.
That dude ever
had... No, he never had hair. But I don't think I've seen these yet. Might have actually been watching them without knowing it because I had watched a ton of Western.
No, Elliot had done Westerns before Tombstone, but yeah, I just absolutely love Tombstone. It's such a great movie. I don't know what it is about that one. I mean, that one's just hands down. That is my favorite Western because it's just awesome. So awesome. I love that movie.
It is a good one, and to be honest,
in my top 50 movies of all time, it's such a great movie. I love Val Kilmer and his Doc Holliday. He does such a great job. I'd have to say everyone does a great job, but as far as I'm concerned, Val Kilmer.
And they have done and redone the Wyatt Earp story over and over several times, you know.
Winona Earp, the TV show.
Which one?
Winona Earp.
I have not seen that yet.
It is good. I love it. Really good.
I know that Kevin Costner played in a movie called Wyatt Earp, and then
That was good too. What that was called Wyatt Earp. Yeah,
Yep.
actually a good movie too.
And
That's,
I know I also have
from the name of that movie. And then you just mentioned it. I'm like, oh, it was Wyatt Earp. Okay, now I knew there was another movie that was like Tombstone that I enjoyed. I just could never remember what it was until you just mentioned it. That was the other movie. I've been trying for years to remember, to remember that.
Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I completely forgot. And
Another older one.
I liked it.
Another older one that I remember about the situation was Gunfight at the OK Corral.
I've seen that.
Honestly, anything dealing with that particular subject, I like out of the West.
Yeah, I'm not big into westerns, but those seem to be those and Billy the Kid, like the Young Guns too. Those are just interesting stories. They're not just. I mean, they're set in the western, obviously the westerns, but they're these famous people that it just tells a good story. You know, it doesn't matter that they're in the western or what. It's just it's a good story. They're good stories. They're not just like you know.
You know what's interesting is that my my mom met like some of our family members that are related to us, and one of them happens to know like our family tree all the way back. Have you ever heard of the Apache Kid?
Yeah.
Well, apparently, one of our family members was related to the Indian scout that traveled with the Apache Kid.
Cool.
So that was kind of a cool thing to learn. But in any case, next film is another Tom Selleck Western.
Geez, he should have.
And it's based on Elmer and Leonard's novel, Last Stand at Saber River.
Never heard of that one either.
Yeah, that one's a good one too.
No, I never realized Tom Selleck did so many.
Yeah, he did a lot back in the 90s. Yeah, because that was his time, and then of course, then he was part of Blue Bloods, and then he became part of the Jesse Stone movies that are out there.
I never saw those. I never saw Blue Blood, but I've seen like I asked it while my roommate was watching it, and it seemed like an okay show. I'm not big into the cop shows, but if I was gonna watch one, it seemed like an okay one to watch.
This was directed by Dick Lowry, and it starred Susie Amos, David Dukes, David Carradine, Tracy Needham, and Keith Carradine as Vern Kidston. Keith Carradine, wow. I used to watch him a lot. Next, here's another one that has one of those slip covers from 20th century of Fox. This one's called Jesse James, and it's produced by Daryl F. Zanuck. He was a big producer during this time, but Tyrone Power, Henry Fonda, Nancy Kelly, Randolph Scott, and are in it, and it's directed by Henry King. I believe this is the first one to do with that return turn to Jesse James, because it's got Henry Fonda in it.
I think the first movie I saw Henry Fonda in that I know of was on Golden Pond.
I remember that movie. That was a good movie for its time, but
No,
I do like the cover of this.
Yeah,
Looks pretty cool.
First movie I saw Jane Fonda in.
Well, and that's not my first Jesse James movie that I've ever picked up either.
Another Jesse James, another character that's interesting to watch some movies about.
Next, I picked up Robert Redford in Jeremiah Johnson.
I've heard of it.
This one is directed by Sidney Pollack.
Rockford Files.
And it co-stars Will Geer, Alan Ann McLeary, Stefan Girash, Charles Tyner, and introducing Deli Bolton, which I wonder if she's related to Michael Bolton in some aspect.
Probably not.
The tagline says, "Some say he's dead, some say he will never be." I've actually never seen that one. Maybe I've seen bits and pieces of it because once again, my dad used to watch a lot of westerns.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, like I said, there's a lot that I've seen and don't know I've seen it because, like I said, I didn't know the name. So I think I've seen probably every John Wayne western out there.
Here's one that promises to be good because look at the cast here. This one's a newer western. It's called Hell on the Border. It's got David Gayassi, Ron Perlman, and Frank Grillo in it. And it's written and directed by Wes Miller. And the cinematography is by Ronald Bordeaux. This was put out by Lionsgate, which we all know is owned by Disney, the mouse. So this promises to be good because Ron Perlman is it.
I know on Lionsgate.
I like Ron Perlman in most things.
Yeah, he's good. I loved him in Sons of Anarchy.
And this one is to show you that Robert Redford is no stranger to the Western. Yeah. I actually realized I didn't have Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. So I picked that up. It's with Paul Newman and Robert Redford. It is...
That one's all right. Not my favorite or anything, but it's an all right one.
Stars Catherine Ross. And it co-stars Strother Martin, Jeff Corey, Henry Jones. And it's directed by George Roy Hill. It's put out by Century Fox. So definitely going to rewatch this. It's been a while since I've seen it. I know it's about a heist, like a train heist. If I remember, it's got a train heist in it. I believe I remember, but that was when westerns were becoming more modern. You know, it wasn't like your spaghetti western, but it was more like Von Ryan's Express or The Great Train Robbery or something to that effect. You know, so here's another newer western that I want to watch, and I don't know the two before this one, but I do know the last name on in this. It stars Kevin Makeley, Jenny Curtis, and Bruce Davison. Bruce Davison, I know.
I don't recognize any of them.
Bruce Davison played the politician against the mutants in X-Men.
Okay.
And this movie is called Any Bullet Will Do. It is written and directed by Justin Lee. And just to give us a little synopsis on what it's about, Hollis Ransom, a ruthless headhunter, has been tracking his infamous brother for 12 years, leading him to the gold boom taking place in Big Sky Country, Montana. Having fought for the Union Army and his brother for the Confederates, Hollis has developed a deep hatred for his kin. With the help of a young fur trapper, Hollis sets out on a bloody path through the rugged lands, fighting outlaws, evading Indians, and finally meeting his brother in an epic battle that will seal both men's fates. So, it sounds like it might be interesting. At least to me. It's kind of a winter western. You know what I'm saying? It looks like it kind of got like a lot of snow involved.
Yep.
So. But those are my recent pickups from yesterday.
I want to see a winter western where a snowman comes out with some machine guns.
That would be awesome. That means we would have. That means we would have to get like a Jack Frost 2.
We need a killer for snowman movie.
We do have one. It's just. Yeah, there were some 80s horror films called Jack Frost and Jack Frost 2, which were killer snowmen.
Like, I don't know, something different. I don't know, like oh.
Well, then we need a remake of Jack Frost, except as a western.
It's time to milk, motherfucker. That's his tagline.
But any case, I was not the only one to bring some stuff to the table. So why don't you show us a couple of your pickups?
Okay. Oh, I have here the Batman, the animated series, Volume 1, right here.
Oh, sweet.
This is the 1990 series that about everybody loves Batman knows about. And if you haven't seen this, you need to watch it. Besides picking up a physical copy, you can also watch this on HBO Max. I have all of them too. For a long time, I didn't watch them because honestly, I didn't like the way they built them. Very bad. I didn't like the way they built Superman either. But finally, I decided to watch it. I heard a lot about it. I heard a lot of people saying how much they loved it. How basically, everyone was saying, like when you say who's your favorite Batman, people say the usual from the movies, but sometimes they say the one from the voiced him on this. And
a lot of people say this one, yes.
So a lot of people say when they read a Batman comic, they read the Batman lines in his voice. After watching it, I get it. He is.
So, do you think Batman has a Batman voice, or do you think that if someone talked in a regular tone of voice, that would be Batman, or do you prefer him with the?
I prefer him with like, well, like I said, this guy, Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck's really good too. And he did a good Bruce Wayne too, which a lot of people don't pull off. It's a lot easier to pull off Batman. He's in a mask, I mean, the voice is just the only thing. Christian Bale's was just too deepish. I don't know, just too if you know what I mean. I liked his Batman okay, but yeah, his voice was just a little off, especially in the third movie. But yeah. But anyways, so I got that, and then now we have also picked up the Batman animated series, Volume 2.
Nice.
In 1 and Volume. And,
so all you need is to collect volumes 3 and 4 out of that.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
One more for you. Volume 3.
Oh, shit. Then
now we have Batman Animated Series Volume 3. So pick up Volume 4 and I will be complete on that. I these up from my good friend Jacob and sent them to me and got a good deal on them. So yeah, I now own 3/4 of one of the best animated series out there.
Very cool. Very cool. I know it took me a while to collect my own copies.
I
So
re-
I'm glad that you were able to find the first three amongst friends.
yeah, I really would like to pick up that. That was my favorite cartoon growing up. I loved that cartoon. So I definitely would love to pick that up. I of something to pick up. So
Very cool.
what else do you have for us?
Well, I definitely have quite a lot, and this is just one amongst many anime that I have picked up. Um, I saw this for $30 on eBay, and the box looked really cool. Um,
What is it?
it is called Ghost Slayers Ayashi.
Okay.
And I've watched at least these two discs, which evidently are the first two seasons or the first season, I guess. And it's basically got a guy who I'm trying to think how to explain this. He's got some magical power from like a demon world, and he can read demon signs and figure out what demons are, and he has this like friend that nobody else can see that he always speaks to, and eventually it reveals who that is in the series. I don't want to say any
It's
more spoilers
Devil.
than that, but I guess there's a group of people who are hunting for him because he has these powers, and he is that kind of person to be able to take and put these demons back in the place that they came from. Yeah, you know, it's just he thought that they wanted to like kill him. Instead, like this group of renegade like dudes who some of them seem like they're a little monkish, little samurai-ish. Um, uh, Eventually, he becomes friends with some of them, and they become like this ragtag group going around. And there's also a little kid in there that has similar powers, but I guess this box set came with like some books on the art. It came with like the first manga in the series.
Nice.
Uh, and shit like that. So that's kind of cool. And along with the same purchase, it ended up having the entire thing. So um, I guess this is part 2 and part 3, which I still have to watch. So for $30, getting the entire series, that wasn't too bad. At least in my mind.
All right. I
Put this away.
I got Batman for $7 a piece, so that's like I said, 3/4 of Batman for 21.
Hey, that's definitely not too bad, especially since I paid $14.99 a piece for my copies.
Yep.
But at the time, I wanted them. So
yeah.
Next, I have another anime series that I got interested in, and it was $20 at Half Price Books over in Brookfield. And it's got this really nice, ornately looking royal looking box, nice artwork, and the slip covers. I'm normally not one to like care about slip covers, but the slip covers look cool too.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, I'm always like, oh wow, that looks cool, and then forget about it after that. Type
yeah.
of-
Normally, I'm like that too, but these look like cool. So
yeah.
I do like showing that part off. This one is called Le Chevalier de Aeon, and it's basically okay, it's set like in revolutionary times. And
Talking
at
about
first I thought they were like vampires, but they're more like zombies. And I guess this was based on a real character in history that actually dressed up like a female and died as a female. But when they like did an autopsy or whatnot, they found that she had male parts or whatnot.
huh,
uh,
funny.
but it's definitely interesting to find out what is and what isn't real and what didn't happen during that time period. I still haven't watched the rest of it,
Your girlfriend,
but
if
it
your
was entertaining what I was watching. Okay.
girlfriend always wants it from behind, you might want to.
Next, I have a copy that only so many were made of Brandon's release of the Shackled Demon Project
Nice,
on Blu-ray.
nice.
And I know it's got some commentary,
Yeah, I wasn't able.
interviews, and I know it's got a couple of short films on here too that came from Kyle Rappaport. So, and I know I've got a poster around here somewhere, but and I think I'll show that off in a different video. I've got other shit to fry here. Next, this I did get from Brandon's private collection. He ended up not needing it. It's called Moonrise Kingdom. You'll often hear him talk about Wes Anderson from time to time. Well, this is a Wes Anderson directed film. I have not seen it yet. I know he picked up the Blu-ray set of Focus feature film set and ended up not needing it. So I now have it, and I guess eventually I'll watch it. But I guess it has Bruce Willis, Edward Norton, Bill Murray, Frances McDermott, Tilda Swinton, Jason Schwartzman, and Bob Balaban. So it's got an interesting cast in it.
Yeah,
It's just Wes Anderson films.
for our A-listers.
What I've seen of them, they're weird.
What's the name of that one?
That one's called Moonrise Kingdom. It's from the same director of Rushmore.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. Next, I did pick up some cartoons from Brandon as well. Chippendale Rescue Rangers,
Nice,
volumes 1 and 2.
nice.
So these were unopened, and I haven't opened them yet because I'm watching some other stuff that I have behind me, which I have to get to eventually too.
Right.
But this is definitely a piece of my childhood. I have to see if there were any more volumes than just these two, but I'm pretty sure that they only came out with 2 volumes of this show. But did you watch Chippendale Rescue Rangers when you were young?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I watched them along with like Tailspin, Gummy Bears.
Gummy bears everywhere.
Do you remember one called David the Gnome?
No.
Okay, well, I watched that around the same time too. Dragon Tales.
No way.
My sister watched My Little Pony. The original My Little Pony, not the crap that they have on TV these days.
Oh,
Those ponies look like shit.
I didn't even know they weren't doing the original anymore.
No, they don't have the original anymore. And I remember my sister watching Strawberry Shortcake.
Care Bears.
Care Bears, I did watch. I need to get a complete series of that. I watched. I remember I watched The Littles.
Sharing is caring.
I remembered I watched The Littles,
Watch that.
which was a TV series about these like
Yeah,
the humans that look like mouses.
yeah.
The only thing I have from The Littles is a movie, an animated feature called Here Come the Littles, which was something that I remembered when I was a kid. But anyways, I bought these two in the martial arts section of Mega Media several weeks back. And one of them is a Jackie Chan movie that I have not seen and I hadn't heard of before I saw it. But it's a double feature set with Don the Dragon Wilson in a film called New York Chinatown and Jackie Chan in a movie called Master of Disaster.
I've seen Master of Disaster.
It's definitely an older one.
Not heard of the other one.
For sure. Yeah, I'd never heard of those. But
I think my favorite, the Drunken Master.
And this one is called Spiritual Kung Fu. The local clown becomes a lethal weapon, and that stars Jackie Chan. Jackie is a young, mischievous troublemaker standing guard at the Shaolin Temple when the most powerful book, Six Fist Kung Fu, is stolen by a sinister warrior intent on taking over the clans. In the haunted temple library, he befriends 5 strange ghosts who teach him the animal styles of Kung Fu: dragon, snake, crane, tiger, and leopard. Now he's got to use everything he's learned to battle for the future of everyone.
I took Praying Mantis Kung Fu.
But I remember when I posted this one, you said that you wanted to see that. It's called Spiritual Kung Fu, which eventually maybe we'll cover it. Next, I picked up, believe I picked it up at the same time, Jungle to Jungle with Tim Allen.
I'm looking at that going, that looks familiar. Just couldn't tell what it was, but yeah, good movie.
I'm normally not a fan of the mouse because normally they're like $20, but this was like $6. So I couldn't help myself.
So what you mean when you say that you're not a fan? You're a fan. You're just not a fan of buying this stuff because it's too expensive.
I'm not a fan of paying their prices.
Exactly, which I don't blame you. I get that. I love Disney, but yeah, they're expensive.
Yes, they are. So I know we covered the first season of this not too long ago. In fact, not even it's been several months since we've done it, but I ended up buying the complete series of the Slayers, and then this is a beautiful set, but I'm not entirely a fan of how they have it set up in here, just because it might be easy to scratch the discs. But this is at least the first 3 seasons of the Slayers.
Nice.
So normally getting the entirety of it is like in the $200 range.
Wow.
If you wanted to get the complete ness. And eventually I'll show off um the other sets that Brandon sent. But I got into a documentary director some years back, and he's from Ohio, and his company is called Small Town Monsters. Believe his name is Seth Breedlove, and
Really?
he's put out a lot of documentaries on many different things, and this is one of his recents. It's called Skinwalker: The Howl of Raugaru.
Heard of a movie called Skinwalkers, but that was Steve.
He also put out On the Trail of UFOs, which is kind of like a mini series on UFOs that he's been doing. I think there are 3 of them out there at this moment. This one right here is called The Mothman Legacy. This is the 3rd film in his Mothman trilogy of films that he's done.
I've seen the Mothman Mothman movie.
Well, that is a movie. You're talking about the Mothman prophecies.
Yeah. Oh, that's something different.
Yes. This is On the Trail of Bigfoot: The Discovery.
Nice.
This is On the Trail of Bigfoot: The Journey. And this is On the Trail of Bigfoot.
Cool.
See, Seth Breedlove will normally go on like Kickstarter and try to get money to film whatever he's going to film next, and he normally does it for like the next 2 or 3 films that he films. And I know the one that I'm waiting for next is based on the Jersey Devil. So. But I have collected a lot of his films from the very beginning. So next I have here, this is the Severin copy of Troma's picked up a film years ago, Combat Shock. It is signed by the director himself.
Cool.
And it is limited to only 2,000 copies. And I have number 965. So I have yet to watch that, but I have unwrapped it. It was brand new when I first got it. Just so I could see what kind of extras came, like booklet or like sometimes postcards or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Ended up picking up some animated stuff from a girl that was in the animations group that Brandon and I are connected to. Where you met Roger, I think, on the anime group. He runs it. We talked about this movie, and I think you talked about it too. The Night is Short, Walk On Girl. She ended up having.
Yes.
So I now have it for real.
Yeah, we covered that.
Yep. So that was one thing that I picked up from her.
But that was a decent movie.
It wasn't too bad. I wouldn't mind watching it again because it was kind of staccato to me. But another animated series that I picked up from the same chick is Maid Sama, the complete collection. I guess this has 27 episodes that I'll have to eventually get through. uh, Also picked up recently Ethan Hawke in The Black Phone.
I've not seen that.
Oh, it's good. But it's based on the short story by Stephen King's son. And it's directed by Scott Dickerson. It's from Blumhouse, Jason Blumhouse house as a producer, which oftentimes, sometimes the Jason Blumhouse ones can be good. So this was the director of Doctor Strange and Sinister. So if that gives you a ringing bell with who the director was.
No.
You know Doctor Strange, the movie, the first one.
Yes.
Well, the director of that was the director of this.
Okay.
Next, I have 3 Blu-ray copies of some of Mo's favorite independent director these days, Christopher Sieber. Besides Full Moon, he always talks about Chris Sieber.
Yeah.
This is Low Budget Pictures Classics Volume 3, and this has The Karaoke Kid and Scrotal Vengeance.
Alrighty. Definitely sounds like a Mo movie.
Well, I actually, before Mo even got into him, I knew the guy existed, and from what I remember, he was one of the ones who, even though I don't think he's like that now, but there were people who would help fund his films, and he wouldn't come back with copies for people. Back in the day, that's the rumor that I heard. Back when he was Warlock Films, but you know, every time that I've had a transaction from him, because when I sought him out, he actually had a list of films that he's done, and I started to collect his films on DVD before he started putting them out on Blu-ray. But in any case, this third one is Seavage's fan film, and I guess on here it has his Friday the 13th Halloween Night, which I guess is a fan film of Friday the 13th, and then From Almost Night to Almost Day, which is a full feature film. I believe it was his first feature film from 1996. And I'm trying to remember what movie he based it on. I think it was Evil Dead or something like that, or From Dusk Till Dawn. I think From Dusk Till Dawn. I think, but I haven't opened up that particular one yet. But I have opened up the other 2. Anyways, you have some more stuff, don't you?
Yeah, I do. We got 2 more here. So this is a first, a second. We have here Romancing the Stone, right here with Michael Douglas, Kathleen Turner, and Danny DeVito. Done in a 1984 movie. I remember seeing this when I was younger, and really enjoyed the movie. It was really fun. And a friend was selling them, and another friend knew I liked it, so he picked it up for me, sent it out. So thank you, Mo. Romance in the Stone. And over here we have Jewel of the Nile, which is the sequel to Romance in the Stone. And this was done in 1985, a year later. Also starring Kathleen Turner, Michael Douglas, and Danny DeVito. So yeah, great fun. A lot of romance, comedy, action. They're basically action films with, romance and comedy as well. Danny DeVito has been in a lot of great movies. Of course, Kathleen Turner, Michael Douglas. Great cast. Really good movie. She's an author of romance stories, and she ends up being the center of one. So yeah, those movies are courtesy of Mo, and I appreciate that. And so those are those two movies. And
Very cool.
You got some more stuff for us?
Definitely, I definitely have a lot more to show, and I'll try to do these as quickly as I can because I have a lot to show. Partially because I was lazy, and Mo ended up sharing his space time with me, but I need to get them out on my own channel so people know they're mine.
Up there,
but
those tubs full of videos that I got from my mother. I never showed them off at all, so maybe sometime I'll do that. But so I got those back in February or March. They were my mother's past, but I inherited them, so I'll have to do that someday. Go through the. I've gone through it myself, but I haven't shown anyone. So.
Well, you're more than welcome to, like, while I'm talking here, if you wanted to gather them together and show them on this stream, since I've still got like a ton of shit to show.
I think better would do it another day.
Okay.
There's a lot. There's a lot. There's a whole thing full of them. So.
Well, in any case, these two right here kind of make me a little sad. Partially because you know that we've been talking to you about how our friend Don is in the hospital and whatnot. Well, while he was still lucid, he ended up giving me these two films because he'd accidentally bought doubles. And so when he was still lucid somewhat, Shudder's original film called The Super Deep.
Okay.
And then Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
Nice. Great movie. I love it.
I guess he bought them not knowing that he'd already bought them. He does that from time to time. And
I bought a movie thinking it was the third movie. It was the second. Stupid Spider-Man. all is like Spider-Man Homecoming, then it's Spider-Man Away from Home, and it's Spider-Man No Way Home. And I accidentally bought the second one thinking it was the third one before the third one had come out.
Speaking of, I haven't even opened up my bubbly today. My favorite fruity drink to drink is Lambrusco Rose from Reunite.
Reunite. I told my roommate she can go ahead and watch Spider-Man 3 on my Amazon Plus because I had it, and she went to turn it on, and her boyfriend's like, "This is 2." He's like, "No, it's 3." And he's like, "I'm telling you." And then she tells me, she's like, "You got 2." I'm like, "What?" So I look, and I'm like, "Oh man."
It's because they have them words after the fucking title, man. You know.
It's Homecoming, then it's Far From Home, and there's No Way Home, and I got confused for a second, just thinking it was the third one was out because I was so excited because I loved that movie, and I do now own it. Well, okay, I bought it digitally, which I've now found out you don't actually technically own. And if they feel like taking it down, they will. They can, and that sucks.
Yep.
I,
Same with streaming. That's
I'm not,
the thing.
I'm not big. Oh, I knew that was streaming. 'Cause I knew that it was streaming. It's usually most things are streaming somewhere. Usually, I
Yeah, I
still,
forget which
I still,
company actually
but
closed.
I think if you pay money for it, as long as that business is there, it should be. I bought it from Amazon, thinking, well, Amazon's not going anywhere, and they probably won't be. So, but if they take that down and it's still there, I'll be very pissed. And obviously, there's probably nothing I can do about it because it's probably some kind of little lettering saying that somewhere, which I obviously didn't read. But yeah, I did not know that. It's not considered. I mean, it must be the same thing for digital games as well. Um,
It is,
but
unfortunately.
except with digital games, you save it onto your system, and actually, and even if you get a new system, you can still re-download it too. So I think they're a lot better with the games, other than the movies. Um,
Yeah, they're definitely
uh,
better
as
with
far
the
as I
games.
know, I don't think I can download the movies, or maybe I can. I've never checked into it, but yeah, I've got 4 or 5 movies, digital movies on Amazon. One of them was free from them, but
I think I've only got one digital
me too.
movie on Amazon, and that was an independent one from someone here in Wisconsin who
Uh,
he actually works. But he's actually like a big game designer
nice.
for like a big company. I think it had something to do with Wolf. I'll have to look again, but it wasn't a bad film, but you could tell it was independent. And but I liked his intro and his credits, so that was the coolness of it. But next, I have a couple of. I believe some of these I got from our good friend Dane. He had them for sale, and I ended up picking them up. Um, I'm really not that interested in upgrading my Child's Play to Blu-ray, even though he had like most of them up there for sale.
Yeah.
But I had not had a chance to pick up the newest Child's Play or the last Child's Play, the remake. So I ended up buying that from him. I also ended up buying um, The Bridge of Spies with I believe Tom Hanks in it. It's a spy thriller. Um,
I haven't seen that.
it's good. And at least I think it's somewhat subtitled, but somewhat not. It's like
Really?
it's half and half because he goes undercover in Russia.
Oh, okay. See, I don't mind that too much. I mean, I would like it a little less, like not too much, but I do get that too. And then some movies. Actually, there is one part. I mean, we actually have a little bit of it in Star Wars when Jabba talks in Return of the Jedi. So, um, but that's only a little bit. Because
I'm not a huge Shout Factory collector. Shout Factory is what you would call or consider one of the boutique
I've heard
labels out there.
I've heard of Show Factory.
But Dane had a couple. In fact, I just bought one from him this last weekend, or just today. But he had Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, still with their slip covers, which these can go for like Uko bucks.
Nice. I am going to run to the bathroom, so you can continue on your channel, and I'll be back in a couple minutes.
Sure. Next, I ended up picking up these. Well, this was from Half Price Books. And I on Wednesday nights end up going and like having dinner with my dad, and so I popped into Half Price Books just to see what they had. And, they had the Criterion release of the original The Four Feathers, which is a film from 1939. And I always thought the story of The Four Feathers was unique. The remake was done with Heath Ledger, and I was a fan of that movie. And I thought it was one of the better movies that Heath Ledger was in. And I just really liked the story, how he thought that he could leave the British Army for love, and none of his friends supported him, and including his fiance. She kind of went against everything, and so he ended up going over to Africa and saving his friends' lives bit by bit, redeeming himself. They each gave him 4 feathers. But next I have, this is a Shout Select. I guess this is another boutique item from Shout Factory. I ended up picking this up. I ended up having a $10 off, so it ended up being more like $20 than $30, or I think it was like $26.99, and it ended up being more like 16 or 15 or something like that. Oh, which was very cool. Well, Amazon had fucked up royally, so they gave me a $10 gift card, or towards something. So when we needed to talk about the Street Fighter, I ended up getting this trilogy of Sonny Chivas for relatively cheap. This has the Street Fighter, Return of the Street Fighter, and the Street Fighter's Last Revenge, both U.S. and Japanese cuts of at least the Last Revenge. But the other two are the uncut versions, I guess. Whatever you want to say on that. Next, I have this very cool box set. It is very cool art. Most of the films are directed by Dustin Ferguson. Check out this art, ladies and gentlemen. This art is like very cool. It's got Dustin Ferguson's signature on it, and I think this is a unique box set because it's got Wild Eye Entertainment along with David Sterling's entertainment stuff on it. When he makes these box sets, he makes them on cardboard, and it is signed by David Sterling as well. Nice.
It's funny.
You've got the director's signature of he's basically the main man behind the series, but some of the films are actually directed by other people.
Right. You know, it's funny. Everything looks better in a box set. Like I don't care what it is. Like I see a box set, I'm like, ooh, that looks cool. You know, it's just like everything looks better in a box set. You know.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Box sets have become like the thing lately in boutique.
I believe it because they look cool. Everything just looks cool in a box set. Could be the biggest jump movie in the world, and I mean, ooh, that looks cool. You
know? Look at that. I mean, the fact that they can like do a fist.
They make a picture of the
fist with a hook.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
On the side there, but
cool.
I guess there are 8 films in this set.
Nice.
You got Meat Hook Massacre, Meat Hook Massacre 2, Meat Hook Massacre 3, First Hunt, Meat Hook Massacre 4, Meat Hook Massacre 5, The Final Chapter, Meat Hook Massacre 6, Bloodline, Bub, Meat Hook Massacre 7, Bubba's Dead,
Jesus. All meat hook, huh?
and Meat Hook Massacre 8, Mayhem.
They're trying to catch up to the Friday the 13th, huh?
Well, and supposedly there is like a mini series that's on Dustin Ferguson's site called Bubba, which also has something to do with this, I guess. Which I want to get eventually. Which maybe I'll pick up next time I have money available. But we shall see, because I have a ton of stuff to pick up from certain people. Let me bring this down. Some of these are recent pickups. Some of them are different. All right, I've been collecting the films of Charlie Steeds for a little bit, and I hadn't picked up his film called Vampire Virus, which the cover looks cool. I know it's independent. I haven't seen it, but it was put out by ITN Distribution, and it stars a whole heck of a lot of people. It looks like Natalie Martinez, Derek Nelson, Peter Lopsgaard, Jessica Alonso, Jonathan Hansler, among others. It has a tagline of "Human blood is only the beginning. A new generation of vampires are born."
Nice.
What do you think? Does it look interesting?
It's vampire, dude. You have me at vampire. I've enjoyed just about every vampire movie I've ever watched, with the exception of the other one that ain't really vampires.
So
I'm talking about Twilight.
Yeah, the sparkle vampires.
I've seen every fucking movie. It's like a train wreck. You don't want to look. You should look away, but you just watching because for a reason you just keep watching. Just curiosity. Just is. Oh, I mean, I actually thought the last movie was kind of good. They killed everybody off. It was really cool, and then they back to back. They made it a vision. I was like, you suck. Everyone dead.
So even though I saw this movie in the theater, I had to pick it up because I had the other films anyways. Jurassic Park, Jurassic World Dominion.
That's the first one or the new one?
This is the new one.
I haven't seen that one yet.
So this has the extended edition on it. It includes two versions of the film, the theatrical and the extended edition. And it is directed by the same director as the other two in the Jurassic World trilogy. So, but at least it has three original cast members of the original Jurassic Park coming back for a fulcrum, and I thought it was pretty decent.
So who came back in this one?
Alan Grant, Ian Malcolm, and Ellie.
Oh, the little girl.
Yeah, those were those three were surprising. And I actually thought that Ian Malcolm was actually not so irritating in this one. So
which one is that one?
That would be Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, okay. You didn't like him?
In the original Jurassic Park, I found him to be just a tad annoying.
I loved him. I loved him.
I loved his chaos theory and the stuff that he was explaining.
I love Jeff Goldblum. I love his movies, but I mean, I guess I can see
many different things.
I guess I can see where you get it from. That his character could be annoying. I like his character, but yeah, it happens. Damn it! Now I'm upside down. I'm trying to charge my phone, but it's
You're
not working.
sideways.
Huh?
You're sideways.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
I know,
So
but you can't really see my head. I have to bend down for you to see my head.
these next ones are ones that I got from Brandon. This whole entire stack here are from Brandon. So I guess he got me, or he had Song of the Sea, which is an Japanese animated film that I guess I did not own yet.
Hey, I don't own it either.
And then I guess from the same studio is The Secret of Kells. Which I guess is an Academy Award nominee, Best Animated Feature of some sort. It's, I guess, a film by Le Chant de la Mer. Looking. Okay, so G Kids presents both of these films. Looks like. So it looks like they'll be entertaining. Check them out later once I get a chance. And then I didn't have anything from this series, but I guess these are some of the movies that are involved in Neon Genesis Evangelion. This one's called Death and Rebirth. And this one's called The End of Evangelion. These have something to do with Neon Genesis Evangelion, the series.
Never heard of it.
Next, I have the complete collection of Pet Shop of Horrors, which is a horror Japanese animation.
Interesting.
Yeah, it looks interesting. Next, I ended up picking up these limited things from Brandon. This is part 1 and part 2. I guess these are limited box art editions of this series. Normally these go for like 200 bones or something like that. But The Rose of Versailles. I've always liked Japanese animations that look like they're like from like the revolutionary times or something like that. Like they're from a,
like
from
ones
like the 1700s or whatnot.
I like the ones that look more like they're American.
And then, of course, I have the rest of the Slayers stuff. You can get the Slayers seasons 1 to 3 in that box set, but then you can get seasons 4 and 5 on this little set.
I need to have a box set we can get them all.
And then I guess these are the other things to do with the Slayers. You've got the Slayers motion picture.
Nice.
Then you've got Slayers Great.
Nice.
We've got Slayers The Book of Spells.
Awesome.
We've got Slayers Gorgeous.
A lot more Slayers than I knew.
Slayers Premium. Slayer's excellent.
Wow.
And Slayer's return.
Wow. Is that all of them?
That is all of them. See, they had like these are like all the specials, and it's like they kept on trying to bring them back, like in like 3-part episodes or 2-part episodes or things of that nature. You know,
Bring them
trying
back
to keep
fully.
the series going.
Bring them back.
Wouldn't mind it. I
What?
wouldn't. I wouldn't mind if they brought it back.
I'd be happy.
All right.
Gotta have Lisa Ortiz though.
You have a couple of more, don't you?
I do. I'll show you. I have here. I got this last month. It is Xena, Warrior Princess, complete series,
Ooh.
starring Lucy Lawless and Renee O'Connor, amongst other people. But yeah, this is the complete series here.
A lot more compact than mine, that's for sure.
Compact little box with Xena on the cover. Nothing super fancy, but you know, Xena.
Well, at least it's not like the thick fuckers that Walmart puts out like these.
I could have gotten those, but you know, it's just I like this. It's nice and compact, and which I don't have a lot of room, so it works. You know, so we got that, and we have here. Let's show you the special that came with it. This is Buffy, season 8, episode 1 of the comic. And this is because it continued on as a comic book series.
Oh, cool.
They have season 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. After that, it got rebooted because I bought them, and they're stupid. But so this is the first one. I have read this. I really enjoy it. I knew it had continued. Hadn't read any, but I finally read it when I got this one. And yeah, it's a neat little book, a new little comic. Some picture of it. It's Buffy there with her other Slayers and stuff. But continues right where the show left off, and that brings me to the big reveal: is the Buffy 20-year anniversary complete set.
No, that's the nicer version, but I ended up picking my copies up individually.
Now, this complete series, it's a 20-year edition. Besides, I got the comic. I also got a little coloring page, which I gave to my niece. She's 4. She loves the color, so I gave that to her, but cannot show it. But this all these DVDs have all kinds of extras. They have commentaries. So you can watch the episodes with commentary. You can watch the episodes regular. Then you can there's all kinds of behind the scenes. So there's all kinds of extras. You name it. The regular other Buffy sets are just the shows, nothing really extra, and cost twice as much, and also are like 10 times bigger. So got a more compact version, got way more stuff, and an awesome comic book for half the price. So deal. I'd much rather have this. Much rather have the compact, and this is actually a slip cover. A little bit hard to take it out, but I pull this all out, and it's got all the. Oh, let me see. It's got all the DVDs.
Oh yeah, box sets are neat. No matter what.
Yeah, it's I really enjoy it. Well, okay.
I know I've seen the other Buffy set around that came out before that.
Yeah.
But that one goes for a heck of a lot more.
Yeah, it does.
Whenever I've seen it, even used, it goes for a lot.
Yeah. does. But yeah, I mean, you got this whole box set. It's got all these DVDs, all these extras, right? You
Yeah.
know, and you would think you'd pay more, but it's half the price. I looked everywhere and I kept seeing $140 and 100, and, you know, and that was just a little bit too high. Um, Not that Buffy's not worth it. I just didn't really have that kind of money, you know.
Yeah, neither did I. That's why I ended up doing what I did, and I was like, okay, let's get this all in one fell swoop.
So here we go. We got it all. And this is a little box to make it look neat. It's not really a DVD here, but just so they all look neat because there were 7 seasons, so um, didn't make it even. Yeah. So we
Hey,
have,
it's really compact in there.
yeah, each case has like 3 or 4 DVDs in them. So you have the seasons, and then you have all the extras in there. So yeah, I think it's a great bargain. It looks cool. Actually, I think it looks cooler than the other set. Definitely more compact than the other set, which again I prefer. I mean, the big box look okay, but when you start collecting a lot, it's like yeah, you got so much, you got no fucking room for shit, because they're so one season is this freaking big, and you have 7.
Yeah.
So like, can you imagine getting something to show like Supernatural, 15 seasons with big box? I'd be mad, So I prefer the compact version. Yeah, I paid $74 through Walmart. It wasn't Walmart self-selling; it was someone selling it through their app, which they do now, like Amazon does. But yeah, they sent it. They said it would take 10 days to get it. I was kind of like, wow. So, no, 12 days, almost 2 weeks. I was like, wow, that takes a while. Kind of bummed out. Uh, 5 days later, I got the stuff from Jacob, and I got that in the mail too. All on the same day, I got everything. I saw a bunch of packages on the table, and I was like, oh, I know this is one is mine, this one's mine. And Becca's like, they're all yours. Oh, cool. So I was Christmas packages and stuff, Uh, so yeah, it was that's my pickups, and um I'm not as many as you, but I'm just starting out, and just doing a little bit here and there, but yeah, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. I wasn't big on collecting things. The biggest reason I wasn't big on collecting things, not that I didn't want things or collect it, I moved a lot. Every time I moved, I lost stuff. Why collect stuff? I'm just gonna lose it, you know. But
Well, you got to be able to keep hold of your collection and have it like in
yeah,
good spots.
I mean, I used to collect Mads of the Gathering, and they got stolen. My car got towed and stolen. The cars were stolen. I had a lot of money invested, way more than the car was worth. Um, and that broke me. That was just like, I was so upset. I mean, I not only I collected, but I played, and it just kind of ruined me. I mean, I ended up playing still. I use my uncle's cards, and sometimes I make a deck with his cards and stuff, but it's not the same thing. Not even close. I mean, I didn't have me in me at the time to even start over. A couple years ago, I found eBay. This guy was selling like packs, but he made his own packs, and he made a really good. It was a really good deal, and they had like all kinds of packs, like newer ones, older ones, like something you'd really want when you want to kind of build a collection. I bought a box, and I was thinking of maybe buying more, but after I bought it, I was kind of like, didn't have the same feeling anymore. I mean, one, I don't have anyone to play anymore, so that's a big part of it that sucks. And the other part is just, I just doesn't excite me like it used to. I had a big collection, and unfortunately, that got taken away from me. So, but
Yeah,
anyway,
it's not the same when it's just like I used to collect the Goosebumps series when I was a kid, and I don't know I guess I was a bad kid because my mom was told by one of my therapists to, as a punishment, take and donate all of my Goosebump books to my school library.
What a dick! Like, and why did your mother listen? I'm sorry not to talk about your mom, but man, that's just like I mean, I could take it. Like, I got stuff taken away from me, but then given back. Like, I got taken away for a time, you know, as a punishment. Not taken away forever. Like, you know, that's just heartbreaking. You know that
It
you want.
was, and I think that was the kicker that got me out of like reading for the longest time, because it really broke my.
That's horrible. I mean, reading is. I mean, the of all the things you should take away is books. I mean, you know, books is so great. I mean, it doesn't matter what the books are about. It teaches you reading, a great tool. You know, and you know, I've always loved reading, absolutely loved reading, and I ended up losing my books and stuff because I've lost everything when I move and different things go through the story. But um, you know, it sucks. But it wasn't because my mom gave them away or whatever. You know, she would never do that.
Yeah, and I remember I was reading Magic the Gathering at one point, and
Never was a book I've always wanted to
we
read.
got in a fight, and my mom threw it out in the trash, and she had a minivan, and I literally swung open the side door and ran after that book like nothing. Of course, I hit my head while I was hitting the concrete, but that's okay. Uh,
Oh, is that what happens?
yep, that's why I'm the way I am. But yeah, I think my mom kind of destroyed my love of reading for a time, and
That's
I
horrible.
think that's why.
Like the opposite of what mothers should do.
I mean, I used to have like the biggest collection, then I got more interested in movies, so I ended up trading up for the next best thing. So to me, I
I still love
appreciate
digital.
novels, and I appreciate the reading that I did, but I guess I like the visual more now. So
Now, I would love to collect all the Star Wars books. I've read most of them on my Kindle now. Okay. I love actual physical books. I really do. But because of my disability, you guys can see, yeah, use my left hand. Holding a book with this just the one hand and reading, it's tiresome.
there
And very,
was, uh,
and reading from a tablet, it's so I don't have to worry about a light. It's got its own light, and it's so easy. And it's just about the same size as a book. The only thing I'm missing really is the smell of the book, which I love the smell of the book, especially old books. Um, I'm one of those people. I just love the smell of books and the feel of books. So I'm missing that, but at least I'm getting the main majority. I'm getting the story, you know, which is the biggest thing about reading.
yeah,
Is
I like the old smell of books too.
I feel like books, I love holding books and stuff. It's just because of my disability, I love
What
them.
was the coolest book you ever owned?
Well, I still own my favorite Dragonlance trilogy, which is the second trilogy, the Brothers Magier. Caraman and Racing Magier. Racing Magier has always been my favorite. Even though I usually like the hero and the good guy, and he's well, he's starts out kind of not really hero the picked on. Definitely very relatable. He's very smart. Wasn't physically strong at all. You know, basically like most nerds. You know. So he put himself into books and learning because he couldn't pick up a sword and fight like his brother does, and he has a twin brother, but his twin got all the looks and physical health and everything. He almost died at birth. Literally, his brother took everything, like the health and everything. Kid has to drink a potion just to live because he coughed himself. And his very frail body, and his brother ends up caring. Now his brother is very a lovable guy and loves his brother completely. Raceland tolerates his brother. Maybe at times he loves him. Raceland is ended up becoming like gypped, where just didn't really end up loving anything or anyone except for Magic. Um, and I love Magic myself, so I can relate to that part. I mean, I obviously love other people, but um, he starts out as like a red mage, so he's like neutral, helpful. They did some mercenary work with the sword and sorcery, so brother would do the hands fighting, he'd do the sorcery in the back, and made a decent living doing that and stuff. And he ended up taking these tests, and these tests gave him hourglass eyes, where anything he saw its death. No matter who, people, building, anything, he saw its death.
Huh.
That was because the trials are so tense that if you pass, you're left king. So they're not to be taken lightly.
Right.
These trials, and that's in the books. And his brother Cameron is just like hated that he did these trials, and basically when he got done with the trials, he's not only survived, but he became a black robe wizard, which was chaos. But he also had in there was somebody trying to take over his body, Fistelandulus, and who had been a super powerful black robe magician in the past, who used the test to get into him and try to take him over. But he underestimated Raceland, and Raceland ended up taking him over instead, going back to the past and becoming him. And they both ended up going back to the past, him and his brother. And he actually there's a part where Raceland ends up buying Cameron, because Cameron was a gladiator, basically a slave, and he didn't even realize it, but Raceland had bought him. His own brother. Yeah, like I said, he wasn't. He ended up becoming. He definitely became a character where you might not like him anymore. I still love the character, but I didn't like his decisions or things he was doing.
Yeah.
Like to his brother and stuff. And I was like, I wish he would not do that. Still character. I still love the character. So great character. And beating a cleric, a paladin. Paladin is a god of healing, and a priestess of healing. And basically, she wants to enter Toxis, which is hell, basically hell, and fight his god, the chaotic evil god. He wants to fight her and become a god. He wants to defeat her, take her place. And the only way to get there, to open it up, is to have the most evilest of persons and the most good or loving person open the door, because they didn't want anyone opening this door. So like, there's no way that you're going to have the most evilest and the most loving person together and to open this door. Well, they underestimated Raceland. Love. Christiania fell in love with Raceland. And I swear at points he'd love her too. But he would not let love or anything way of what he wanted. He used, and there was times when she was be right next to him and wanting stuff and wanting to do stuff with him, and he almost caved in, but he didn't. He wouldn't let his body control his actions. It never had and never would. And if he slept with her, she would not be a virgin anymore. She would not be pure anymore, and she would be useless to his endeavor. So he could not sleep with her or anyone else. But she didn't want anyone. She wanted him. And
it sounds cool.
He basically tricked her and used her, and He ended up becoming blind, and they were in the hell. Got to the door, they opened it, and he left her. He left her there blind in the hell to wander around in this area. And I was very upset with him for doing that. That was just so horrible. I mean, bad enough he used it, but then just leave her blind, trapped there, you know? And after everything she realized, then blind, and that he really didn't love her, and that he had just used her, and you know, it broke her, you know, and I won't spoil anymore, but it's a great story. That trilogy is really awesome. I won't tell you what happened, but he does fight the god, and just have to read it, check it, find out. Brothers Deer second trilogy in Dragonlance. There's a lot of Dragonlance books.
Yeah.
I've read about 40, so I haven't read that many. I've read a lot more Star Wars, but I've read enough, and I really love them. The original trilogy is my second favorite. I started with Dragons of Autumn Twilight. That was from the original trilogy that Margaret White and Tracy Hickman wrote. They wrote a good majority of the Dragonlance books, and they wrote all the best ones.
Nice.
A series called Deathgate Cycle. I read 6 out of the 7 books, and the 7th book wasn't out yet. By the time it came out in novel, it was like a year later. It was too expensive. I ended up never reading it. So I would have to go and read all the books again, because it's been so. I remember bits and pieces about it, but I would definitely have to reread it and read that book. But yeah, absolutely, yeah, Michael Tracy, such a great.
I think the best fantasy novel that I've read. I can think of a couple. The first one that I can think of is a quadrilogy written by Neil Hancock, where he had the Circle of Life, Circle of Light novels, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I think the first one had something to do with Fairfax, and you had an otter and a bear and a dwarf getting together. The second one that I remember, okay, this one's kind of steamy, and it's called kind of pulp novelish, but trying to remember the name. I think is the name of the author of this one was John Norman, and he wrote for Tor novels back in the day, and he wrote on this world called Gore, where it's a parallel world, and women from Earth are kidnapped to this planet and sold as slaves, sexually and otherwise. And one I got into was Rogues of Gore, which was later in like the novels that he wrote, and it told the story of Jason of R. Well, he ended up being a galley slave on a ship, and he was from Earth, and he always remembered this like beautiful woman that he knew on Earth, named Beverly, and he ended up finding her on a slave block and took her home and gave her freedom, and she hated him for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because she wanted to be that sexual slave. She wanted to, and he wouldn't treat her like such. He thought of her as like this pure person. You know, he didn't want it.
She was into the lifestyle.
Well, he thought he put her up on a pedestal and shit, and yet there were other slaves that he had spent the night with in the novel, where it got kind of mushy, and he treated them like slaves, but Beverly, he would not, and he ended up buying a personal sex slave for himself, and she got fucking jealous and left. And I remember her joining forces with like this river pirate, and at the end of the novel, he was going up against this river dude to take Beverly back, from what I understand, and I really got into that. It was a pulpy, steamy, erotic novel, but yet you knew that the author knew a lot about naval warfare, because of the way he spoke of the ships that he took the characters to, and it was really cool. But believe it or not, in the 80s, they did 2 movies based on this world, and they fucked it up royally. You can't even get them on like I know you can get them on bootleg.
Why would you want to if they fucked them up?
Huh?
Why would you want to if they fucked them
up? Because well, they came out during that Beastmaster stuff, so but in any case, those were some of my favorites. Going on to some of the other stuff that I have. I picked up from Walmart the complete series of MASH, and it includes the movie.
I was never a fan of MASH. My mother-in-law liked those.
I caught bits and pieces of the show from time to time, and I've always been curious about checking out like the humor involved in it, just to see what it was all about.
It wasn't really my type of humor.
I wasn't sure, so I picked it up anyways.
I did like the first whoever the person in charge. I don't know, military stuff, but who was in charge? I like the first guy better. Who they ended up killing off, and then they got this older guy. But the first guy was a little more interesting. And Hot Lips Houlihan was kind of funny, and you really wanted to punch the guy that was always after her. I can't think of his name. He was such a dick. But it was okay, but it was definitely something I watched because I didn't have a choice. It wasn't a choice.
I also picked up the complete series of Emergency.
I never watched that.
Tammy watches it from time to time, and I figure it might be a cool thing to just throw on, and we'll
watch it together.
Yeah. But probably way after the Magnum PI crap. Next, I have 3 bootlegs of 3 different shows from my childhood. During my grade school years, they used to throw on episodes of this mathematician that called his show Mr. Wizard's World.
I remember hearing about that show. Never watched it, but
he threw on a cap that you would see on Mickey Mouse in Fantasia, and dressed up as a wizard and taught kids about different math problems. They're like, see,
I might have liked that. I mean, I never really liked math, but I loved wizards. So,
and honestly, he talked for some reason. It had a charm to it, but if we didn't have Mr. Wizard's World, we definitely wouldn't have Bill Nye the Science Guy.
I never watched that
because he started out on Mr. Wizard's World.
Really?
Yep. And then along the same lines, this was another early 90s science show for kids, was Beekman's World.
Yeah, I never watched that either.
And that I watched for a time myself. I think it was on like around the time like Are You Afraid of the Dark and shit like that.
I never watched that show.
I did.
I never.
This is a,
I've been interested to watch it, but I've never seen it.
but those I picked up from Asuka the Disc Dog, which I guess is a bootleg company from Chicago, from what I understand. Because when I looked at the mailing address, it was from a Chicago address. But I ended up picking up one of Nicolas Cage's newer movies called The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. And it's kind of a comedy, but if you're really looking for something funny, I was looking for something more than just what was shown in the trailers. Like they showed all the funny parts in the trailer.
I hate that.
Yeah.
You think the movie's gonna be funny, and then you watch it and you end up realizing that you already saw all the funny parts.
I mean, it is a little bit, but it's like the trailer spoiled it for me.
The trailer spoiled the best funny parts to the movie.
So I already had this on DVD, but I decided to upgrade. Dane had it in his stuff.
What's it called again?
This one is called Stonehurst Asylum.
Never heard of it.
It's with Kate Beckinsale, Jim Sturgis, which, if you'll remember, Jim Sturgis was in Across the Universe.
Was he?
Yeah, he was the main character.
Okay.
Brendan Gleeson, Ben Kingsley, and Michael Caine starred in this film, and it's basically about a doctor who ends up going to an asylum to learn more how to be, what he is, and he learns and finds out that the insane the sane have been imprisoned and the insane have taken over the place.
Nice.
So it's cool. I like it. I like asylum movies when things have to do with asylums.
Have you seen New Mutants?
Yes.
I really enjoyed that.
I liked that. I wouldn't mind like a second movie to that.
Yeah, great.
The first time I'd ordered anything from Right Stuff, I picked up a copy of a series called Bodacious Space Pirates, and I didn't realize at the time there was a movie, a separate movie besides that was out there. So I ended up going on eBay and picking this up not too long ago. It's called Bodacious Space Pirates, GIFs of Hyperspace.
Alrighty then.
I don't know. I liked the title, and it seemed like it might be interesting.
Hey, whatever boat you float.
Right. Next, these I picked up from Brandon. I ended up picking up City Hunter, the first two sets from him, and I've gone on about them before on a video. But since he had ended up picking up the series on Blu-ray, what I have here in my hand, he turned around and sold me his copies of the on DVD. This is collection 1 or collection 2, volume 1 and 2. These are thick sets, though. and City Hunter 3, which I guess would be considered season 3, and then City Hunter 91.
Cool.
Which I guess I think Sentai Works has actually picked up like a lot of the City Hunter movies that were not on anything yet, like not DVD or anything like that, and they're putting them together as a collection. So I might look into getting that down the road because those are separate from these and they never got a DVD release. So just to have those with, but I know they're still working on putting them together.
Right.
Do you have anything else to show?
That was it.
Okay. Well, I ended up talking to a guy from Canada, and we negotiated some prices on these next few, because some of these are out of print. I guess this is a movie called 12. It's an independent movie. It's directed by Michael A. Nichols, and it says on here, "You have been summoned." Looks like it's a slasher. Looks like there might be a killer. Okay, Claire Norris, a young waitress in a small town diner, sat on a jury and along with 11 others listened to the evidence against a man accused of a crime against a minor. After days of difficult deliberation, the man, Leonard Carlson Jr., was found guilty. In prison, the unspoken rule regarding such crimes was enforced, and Carlson was beaten by other prisoners to within an inch of his life. His face severely disfigured as a result. Now out of prison, Carlson returns to the town that held his trial. Still severely scarred and barely recognizable, he conceals his wounds and his identity. In one horrifying night, he once again faces the 12 jurors who decided his fate. Yeah, sounds cool. Next, I have an independent movie here called Banshee. It was put out by ND Visual. It's directed by Colin Faze. It stars Ashley Bates, David McCarthy, Kevin Shea, Iris McCullen, Grace, Troy Welcott, Carrie McGinn, and Jess Wakefield. And it has a tagline of, "By the time you hear it, you're already dead." Synthetic Cinema International might be the production company behind it. That looks like a wicked cover there. Next, I have a film called Buzzsaw. It's from SRS Cinema. It's directed. Trying to look for the director. Okay, it's directed by Robin Garrels. He's filmed the films Insaniac and China White Serpentine. And I guess it has a bonus short film on here as well. It has a tagline of, "Before you die, you hear the buzz." This was produced by Heretic, or put out by Heretic. I think I have one or two others by this company. This one was written and directed by Brian Avenett Bradley. It's called Cold Blood. I know it's independent. And I'm trying to think. Okay, J.M. Barnes Walker III, played by Barnes Walker III, didn't mean to do it, but in one insane moment, he killed his wife. The trouble is, he's still in love with her. Unable to cope with what he's done, J.M. flees to his sister's desolate farm, the site of his wedding just a year ago. Once there, J.M. makes the haunting realization that he's not alone. Someone or something is on his trail, and J.M. will have to fight off more than his own demons. Blackmail, killing, betrayal, revenge. J.M. soon discovers there's no place to hide from murder. Next, I have a vampire film called Dawn. This is the one that I saw within dude's stuff that he was selling that I wanted the most. Daddy's little girl is hungry. It's directed by Jay Reel, and it was the only film he ever made up until like a year or two ago. He ended up doing a short film and continuing the story. And he was pulling around for reviews, and I was able to see it, but I have not seen this. And I saw it once for $10. Wish I could have picked it up then. But I know that this is the original film that it was printed to, the original copy it was printed to. I know it was also distributed on Brain Damage Films, which was an independent label for a time, which has now deceased. And next I have Midwest Obsession. This has Courtney Thorne-Smith, Kyle Secor, and Tracy Gold in it. It's put out by Fremantle Media. It was written by Dwayne Poole and directed by Billy Graham. No, not the TV evangelist. That would be weird if Billy Graham himself actually directed a horror film.
Well, especially because his name was Billy Graham.
But
his wife was a horror film.
Yeah. The tagline says, "What she wants, she gets." An unhealthy obsession takes over the lives of three people in this stunning and emotionally taut thriller, which channels the energies of Fatal Attraction and Basic Instinct. Kevin Reese, played by Kyle Secor, is a decent, hardworking young man who is attempting to pay off the debts left by his father and reclaim his family's farm. He has a loving relationship with his girlfriend, Beth, played by Tracy Gold, and hopes that one day they will settle down. However, a chance encounter is about to change Kevin's life, coming to the aid of a beautiful woman, Cheryl Ann Davis, played by Courtney Thorne-Smith, the area's local beauty queen. Kevin inadvertently sets off an obsessive passion in the unbalanced and slightly deranged Cheryl. She wants Kevin, and she is not going to let anything stop her. All right, I have 3 more stacks that I'm going to do on this stream, and then I think I'm going to quit for today. Just because I have so much, but then possibly I might do another stream next Saturday. So, this stack is actually going to be really quick. This next little stack, which was underneath those that I had just shown, partially because it's an entire series and the movies involved with Babylon 5.
I love Babylon 5.
And this is the movie collection with movies: The Gathering, In the Beginning, Third Space, The River of Souls, and The Call to Arms. Now, I ended up when I bought this first season here, the discs weren't working, so I ended up buying another set to replace the discs. So I've got another set in the stacks behind me, which I won't get to today, but I figured I'd say something about it so that then I can just skip it and go on to other stuff when I do go on about it. So put these down here. Most of these are unopened. The 5-disc movie set was actually open, but seasons 2, 3, 4, and 5 were still brand new and in their shrink wrap. So I don't think there should be anything wrong with those. Oh. All right. Next, I have Cuban Fury. Looks like it's a comedy. Stars Nick Frost, Rashida Jones, Chris O'Dowd, and Ian McShane. It has a tagline of "All's fair in love and salsa." Looks like it might be entertaining for a moment. Next, I have an animated feature called Free Birds. Owen Wilson, Woody Harrelson, and Amy Poehler voice some of the characters in here, and it is directed by Jimmy Hayward.
What's it called?
It's called Free Birds.
Good cast.
Good cast, so it might actually be interesting. I would call this an urban film because it looks like it has all black actors. It's called Wild Faith. It has Shane Hagsborn, Lauren Lestrada, features Trace Adkins and DJ Perry. It has a tagline of "Stand Your Ground." And this was put out by Mill Creek Entertainment, but it's directed by Jesse Lowe. And it says Civil War veteran returns home to Michigan and hopes to find peace, but he must fulfill a promise to a dying Negro soldier and bring his wife and daughter to live with him. The townsfolk aren't ready for this modern family, and a plot to remove them is hatched. Facing bigotry and greatly outnumbered, they struggle to find faith as the world around them changes. They misspelled on that back. Jesus Christ, they should learn some English. But anyways, this is from Echo Bridge Entertainment. They were putting out a lot of their back catalog for a little bit in Dollar Tree and stuff, and I do believe I picked this up in half price books though I have seen this title in Dollar Tree posts. This is a film called The Project. I guess it's directed by Brandon Rhymes. Put out by SP Releasing, and it has a tagline of "There's no escape." It has a cool front, but Echo Bridge Entertainment often has a mixed bag of independent films. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're really shitty. Next, I have, and you might think that there's a theme going on here, but I have some shark movies. Bull Shark. In this lake, you're the catch of the day. This one was directed by Brett Bentman. Next, I have Blood in the Water. Another sharky movie. Saw meets Jaws. Your secrets will consume you. This one is written by Matthew BC and directed by Dominic Nutter. I don't know whether those are any good or not, but here is another one. called Land Shark, and not to be confused with Mark Polonia Brothers Land Shark, either. It's a
Trust me,
different
I didn't
film.
confuse it.
It's
I've never heard it either.
It's directed by Lin Zhenzhou, and I do believe that it might be a Korean film. I remember seeing ads for it at one point in time. Those three I bought from Walmart, just like this one I got from Walmart. It's called Cyst, a delightfully disgusting old school monster movie, Dread Central calls it, and it's directed by Tyler Russell. It was put out by it's a Raven Banner. Raven Banner actually released Bunny the Killer Thing. But it was put out by RLJE Films. And I guess it stars Eva Haberman, George Hardy, Greg Sestero. It looks like it might be a romantic film. Next one, picked this up from Walmart, I believe. Called Dinosaur Hotel. Actually, no. I bought this on eBay. I saw it at Walmart. I bought this on eBay because I saw it at Walmart and I regretted not picking it up then. The hunt is on and you're the prey. Tammy was telling me not to. That's why. There were like 2 or 3 that I wanted to pick up, and she was like, "No." But
picked it up anyways.
Directed by Jack Peter Monday. I should have.
Well, you did. You picked it up from eBay.
Well, yeah, I picked it up anyways. Later. Unfortunately, I didn't remember the titles of the other 2. But Siona, desperate for money, agrees to take part in a mysterious underground game show. Upon arrival, she discovers the seemingly simple rule: survive the night. But from what? Before long, she and other contestants are running for their lives from the prehistoric creatures roaming the grounds, all for the entertainment of the rich and powerful. Kind of sounds like The Purge, except with dinosaurs. This is an Asian Japanese horror film called Merbito, put out by Asian Extreme. It's from the same director as the original Japanese The Grudge, so it might be entertaining. Looking forward to checking that out. I was thinking on sharing that with Boris. Next, I have an inspirational movie based on a true story type thing called Blinded by the Light. Once he heard the music of Bruce Springsteen, nothing could stop him. From the director of Bend It Like Beckham, which I guess is Gurinder Chadha. Hard to say his name. Next, I have a female-oriented action film starring Jennifer Garner called Peppermint.
I like Jennifer Garner.
Huh?
I like Jennifer Garner.
I do too. And this is from the director of Taken, which I guess was Pierre Morel. And it looks like she's just reenacting her Alias mentality. I liked Alias, the show.
I never saw it.
Jennifer Garner was like the main character, double agent or whatever.
Right. I just never saw it.
Let's see, but here I have an independent movie called Antisocial Behavior, starring David Watkins and Posey Brewer. And the tagline on this film is called "One by One, They're Taught a Lesson. One by One, They Meet Their Deaths." And it's directed by Vincent Pike. Put out by S'more Entertainment.
No s'more.
Sounds interesting. This one is a Shout Factory release on DVD called Ophelia. And it's got Daisy Ridley, Naomi Watts, and Clive Owen in it. Looks like it's like knights and kings and queens type thing, but it looks like it might be a little bit of a horror film too. One of the world's greatest dramas is turned on its head through a bold new perspective in Ophelia, set in medieval Denmark and spoken in modern tongue with a poetic twist. It recalibrates the classic Shakespearean tragedy of Hamlet so that its unspoken, complex heroine may share her own story as a rebellious and motherless child. Ophelia is taken into Elsinore Castle by Queen Gertrude, ugly name, played by Naomi Watts from Mulholland Drive, as one of her most trusted ladies in waiting. Soon enough, Ophelia captures the affections of the young Prince Hamlet, played by George McKay from Captain Fantastic. In secret, a passionate romance ignites between the two, as the kingdom is on the brink of war amidst its own political intrigue and betrayal. When Hamlet's father is murdered and the prince's wits begin to unravel into an insatiable quest for vengeance, Ophelia sharply navigates the rules of power in Denmark, all while struggling to choose between her true love and her own life. So there we have that. And I promise the next, this will be the last stack for today. I would have gone through to the end, but I know you haven't slept yet, my friend. So I ended up picking up on Blu-ray. This is an upgrade for me since I had the DVDs of the extended editions of Lord of the Rings. This is the Blu-ray set of Lord of the Rings.
Nice.
The extended versions.
Nice.
And then these are all the extended editions of The Hobbit in like these nice box set things. When I originally picked up my versions of The Hobbit, they didn't have these like nice boxes around them. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I picked those up as well.
Nice.
So
yeah, I own or I have on streaming. I mean on digital. The Desolation of Smog. I got that one because I really wanted to see it, and it was like it wasn't that much more to buy it than to rent it, so I was like, fuck it, and bought it.
yeah,
but I don't own the other two. Yeah, so
these are the ones just
I was actually
slightly under the 4K editions. So
definitely ones that would like to get the the physical versions.
Oh yeah,
Like Star Wars. I mean, I still only own 6 of the Star Wars, the first 6.
Only the first 6?
Yeah, I don't own Solo or Rogue One, and I don't own the other 3.
Okay.
I mean, I plan to buy the box set, and then stuff happened, and I didn't buy it, and I was gonna buy it, and then stuff happened, and then I kind of forgot about it, and then now I'm thinking about it again. But now Christmas is coming up, so yeah, that's probably not gonna happen for a bit, unless I just pick it up and pay monthly, because I did get financing through a few companies, trying to find one that will allow me enough to get a PS5, but unfortunately, not enough. I got 500 on one and 600 on another, and I can't combine them. So, and Walmart has them for 700 and something. They actually have them in stock.
Oh, you're talking about the PS5?
Yeah. So Sony doesn't even have them in stock, or the PlayStation Store.
Sheesh.
It's still invitation only. I got invited last year to buy one, but of course I had no money and no way to get credit for it. So I do have an account with a firm. I didn't even know. I realized I did. Trying to see what the pricing is, but I had to update it with a new phone number, and that takes a few days. So I have to wait till they do that until I can get into my account, because I use the old number and they're like, "Oh, we're sending you a text, and give us the code." I'm like, "Well, that doesn't fucking work, so I don't have the phone number anymore." Unfortunately, I was so pissed when I lost that phone number, dude. I had that phone number for a long time. I don't like switching phone numbers. I know my number, and I want to keep it that way, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it sucks. I don't like doing that. I technically have two phone numbers. I don't know the hell the other one. I don't use the AT&T one. A friend of mine pays the bill because she uses the account sometimes. So, whatever.
Yep.
I occasionally, if my internet goes out, I can use it for backup Wi-Fi, because mine has Wi-Fi, but only for my account. The Verizon, they don't offer. I'd have to pay extra for that, and
Yeah.
I just said, screw it. I mean, it is annoying when the Wi-Fi goes out. But usually it doesn't go out for like maybe 10, 15 minutes tops. So, and if I have to, I can use the other phone, and plug my computer into it, and the other phone that isn't doesn't have any, isn't on. I don't usually bother my TV. I just wait from watching something on my TV. It's just too much of a pain in the ass to fucking try to put it on then. And like I said, 9 times out of 10, it's like 15 minutes. By the time I do it, it'd fucking be back anyways.
Yeah.
So.
Alrighty. So this last little stack, at least for today, because I swear I have way too many things to show in this particular stream. So
yeah. Like I said, if I do I do my thing. It's a big thing, so definitely want to be prepared for it.
Well, then maybe get prepared for it by next Saturday. We'll do this again.
Yeah. We'll see. On timing though, it was just one of those things where I have trouble sleeping right now, but so normally I'm not up early,
Yeah.
So not up for like another 40 minutes or so.
Here I have a film that's inspired by true events called The Favorite. I guess this is one of those inspirational films. Figured I'd check it out. It stars Amy Gossett, Tyrone Woodley, John Schneider, Luke Bernard, Uriah Hall, and Matt Fahey. And it's directed by Curtis Graham. So I'm going to be checking that out eventually. Maybe on a boring ass day. This is a documentary that I picked up for $1.25 called Emmanuel. It's the untold story of the victims and survivors of the Charleston church shooting.
I definitely would not watch that. There's a few documentaries I like, but usually of course, I love the Star Wars one, any Star Wars one, a few Marvel ones I've seen, and a few others like that type of thing I like, but yeah, definitely not real life stuff. I don't even watch the news.
Next, I have a film called The Guest, which stars Dan Stevens and Micah Monroe. This is from the creators of Your Next, and it's directed by Adam Wingard. And this looks like it might be cool. A stranger shows up, and looks like it's kind of like a home invasion type thing. Next, I have Pete Davidson in The King of Staten Island. It's Universal Picture, directed by Judd Apatow. From celebrated comedy director Judd Apatow and starring Saturday Night Live breakout Pete Davidson comes a racing comedy about love, loss, and laughter on Staten Island. I guess he was the director of Trainwreck and Knocked Up. So,
Knocked Up was a good movie.
Next, I think this is a French film. I picked this up at Dollar Tree, along with some of these others here. The Town is Quiet. It looks like it's a mafia style movie, and it's see, The Town is Quiet exposes a complex mosaic of intersecting characters and subplots reminiscent of the critically acclaimed social statements of Altman's Nashville and Shortcuts. The film centers on Michelle, who works at a fish market while supporting her long unemployed husband, her heroin-addicted daughter, and an infant grandchild. For help, she turns to Gerard, an ex-boyfriend with connections to the criminal world, who helps her score smack to feed her daughter's habit. One day, Michael meets Paul, a former dock worker who has given up a life of endless strikes to become a taxi driver. Vivian, an unhappily married music teacher, starts to pair with Aberremain, a young North African ex-con who confronts prejudice no matter which race it springs from. So, sounds like it's a number of vignettes strung together. Next, I saw these two films in a collection someone was selling off in Facebook Marketplace, and I had to have them. The Old Dark House, which is this first one. I guess it's on a boutique label with Kino Lorber. I think this is, nope, it's from E1 Entertainment. They started something called the Cohen Film Collection, which I guess this one is restored in 4K. So, not that I care about 4K. It's just what it was. And this one's called The Great Alligator. This one is a Blu-ray on the Code Red, which is a boutique for independent and classic films. That was around for a while. Not sure if it still is or whatnot, but and then I ended up picking up a film called Visions of Filth. That looks appetizing, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
It's a number 4 out of 30 copies made from a French Canadian that I know who loves to distribute for other filmmakers while also making short films of his own. Next, I have Jaws 5, otherwise known as Cruel Jaws.
I didn't even know there was a Jaws 5.
Well, this is the out-of-print copy from Severin, which I guess there were some copyright laws that were broken when they put this out there. So they
so they didn't have permission to make Jaws 5?
Huh?
So they didn't have permission to make Jaws 5?
It was something that they didn't think about before they distributed it. So there were a lot of people who ended up getting copies, and then they had to stop distributing them. So there are only some limited copies out there. So I ended up paying like $90 for this. You can still, I guess, find it without the slipcover for cheaper. But with the slipcover, it's more expensive. So,
cares about the slipcover?
I know, right? But people do, and
go enjoy your paying fucking hundreds of dollars.
Pay like $50 to $75 for those things, depending on what it is.
Hey, I got a Across the Universe slipcover. Who wants $100?
Nice try. Next, I have a sequel to a independent movie called Megalodon Rising. Can you tell I like shark movies?
Yeah, you're one of those weirdos.
Brian Nowak is the director of this one. I'm not sure if he's the director of the first one, but The Asylum put this out.
I liked Meg. Did you
I
see
like
Meg?
Megalodons if they actually look like megalodons.
Well, it's called Meg.
Yeah, the Meg.
No, it's called Meg.
The movie?
Yeah.
Well, there's a book called Meg, but the movie is called The Meg.
I never seen the movie The Meg. I saw the movie Meg.
I saw the movie The Meg, and if you look up what your movie that you're talking about, it's called The Meg.
Nope, it's called Meg.
Look it up. Brad Status.
My TV said it was called Meg, and that's what I believe. Anyone can make a wiki.
Brad's Status, I guess, stars Ben Stiller and Austin Abrams, Jenna Fisher, Luke Wilson, and Michael Sheen. I know that this is an independent movie, but it's directed by Mike White.
It's got a good cast.
I haven't seen this movie yet, but I like Ben Stiller.
Me too.
Next movie I have here has David A.R. White.
Did you see the one with Ben Stiller and Drew Barrymore? They like
Duplex?
rented an apartment, and they plot to kill the landlady and shit.
Yeah, I remember that one.
That was a good one. That was a good one. That
And
landlady did deserve it, though. She was a bitch.
Mystery Men was one of his best. If you've ever seen Mystery Men.
Sounds familiar.
David A.R. White.
Yeah, I seen Mystery Men. Yeah, that's the one with Gene Garofalo, right?
Yeah.
And the black guy's like, look, I'm invisible, and she's like, you might want to put some clothes on if you want to continue fighting crime today, because he wasn't invisible; he was just naked.
David A.R. White, Jeff Fahey, Burt Young, and William Baldwin star in this independent movie called Beckman. Aaron Beckman is finished, done with life. Lived in the shadows as a cruel gun for hire. Now his soul cries out for healing, peace, forgiveness, and grace. In desperation, he appeals to the church and is welcomed by an ailing pastor like a long lost son. However, the journey towards salvation is cut short when his adopted daughter is kidnapped by a deranged cult leader named Reese. Blinded by rage, Beckman sets off on a dangerous rescue mission and is forced to revert back to his old violent ways. The only thing that can stop Beckman's rampage is his faith, but will he remember it in time to save his soul? Next, I have Dinosaur World. This one is directed by Ryan Belgart. This one is a Shout Studios. So I think it has something to do with Shout.
Shout it out.
But it has a cool cover. I will give it that. Next, I have Jurassic Island. These like Beckman, and Brad Status, I picked up at Dollar Tree. Dinosaur World and Jurassic Island, I picked up at Walmart. This one is directed by Dominic Ellis, and it was put out by Uncorked Entertainment, which there are still a few Uncorked Entertainment movies out there that I still have to get as well. Starring in Jurassic Island are Nicola Wright, Sarah T. Cohen, and Ricardo Freitas. And it has a tagline of "The battle is now." Not sure how real the dinosaurs look in those, but I guess I'll figure it out. Next, I have Halle Berry and Oliver Martinez in a sort of shark movie called Dark Tide. I guess it's from the director of Blue Crush and Into the Blue. And it has a tagline of "Terror has teeth." Next, I have Clint Eastwood. Woods, A Fistful of Dollars on Blu-ray from its Kino Lorber release. Directed by Sergio Leone. I'm going to keep this one out because I want to rewatch it because we just watched Yojimbo and I want to see the fucking comparison. Next, I have Ryan Reynolds in an earlier film of his called Waitress. Or Waiting. That's what it's called. It's the unrated and raw edition. 2-disc. Stars Ryan Reynolds, Anna Faris, Justin Long, Caitlin Doubleday, Andy Milonakis, Dane Cook, and Chi McBride and Louis Guzman. And it's directed by Rob McKittrick. Put out by Lionsgate before Disney owned them. I say before because Lionsgate actually had their logo a little bit different. I'm not sure if you can see it right there before Disney owned them. But next, I also have For a Few Dollars More. And the Clint Eastwood ones I ended up picking up from Dane. So this is also a Kino Lorber release. See what they did is they took the no name Man with No Name trilogy, including High Plains Drifter, and put them on their label and restored them and all that jazz. So he had them, and I was like, hey, I'll upgrade. So Alrighty. Well, that should be everything that's in my room for today, ladies and gentlemen. But I definitely have a lot more to show you. And now you understand why I took so long to come on, because I have so much. So thank you for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed both of our, you know, show and tell in here. And we'll see you next time, probably next week, to continue to show you, because I'll definitely have a couple more things to add from some stuff that I've bought as well, that is still coming as well. So thank you, and just let us know down in the comments what you have in your collection, and whether you thought any of these pickups were cool. Did you have anything to say to the audience?
No.
Alrighty. Well, in any case, have a nice day, everyone. And hopefully you had as much of a blast as I did.
Yeah, I've one another great reads was